So I saw a video on my YouTube home feed. It was a video about Batman Arkham Knight 1.0 build 10 years later. And the video was going over the history of the game, the issues, and it was played on hardware from 2015 or in that time period. So I thought, what if Batman Arkham Knight was never fixed? It never got patched. It's set on the 1.0 build the entire time with the same issues as release day. Would the current GPUs have enough horsepower to brute force through all the issues and then output a good, nice looking game that is playable? So that's why we're here. I'm playing on the 1.0 build of the game from 2015, I guess June 2015, and we are playing at the max settings at 1080p, at least for now. So yeah, we're using an RTX 4060 for this one, which is, I guess, the newest mid-range card that we have, and a 5800X 3D, 64 gigs of RAM, and the game is playing off an SSD as well. I had to restart the game real quick because the game is capped to 30 FPS, and you can't disable it within the game. So I had to quit out, go into the config files, and then max the FPS at 200. So the main problems with this build are the stutters and the low FPS. Oh, 70 FPS right here, that's crazy. And the patches that came out in August and September somewhat fixed that. I'm flying around. So the FPS overall is pretty good, like 120 on average, but it does fall down into the 70s and the 80s. Let's see how we go here. I am getting some stutters. Oh yeah, it is stuttering quite heavily, happening every like 2 seconds. It's not too bad, to be honest. It is definitely playable as is, but it's kind of crazy how a 2015 game is having a hard time or having issues on, I guess, newer hardware. Yeah, driving around shows the stutters quite easily. It's very consistent. Every 2 or 3 seconds, it hitches, and the FPS is quite jumpy as well. It goes from the 80s up to the 120s again. GPU-wise, it is sitting at like 60%. We are trying again because I drove away and failed the mission. But you guys can see the stutters again for a second time. I do want to cap the FPS to 60 here and see if we can get a stable 60 FPS, a clean lock going the entire time with no stutters. Because right now the game does stutter, but it does fall down into the 80s from the 120s. So I'm going to drive away and fail the mission again. And then I'll reset with a 60 FPS cap. We can try again. Alright guys, trying again with a 60 FPS cap now. Let's see if the game stutters as hard as before. Yeah, it's definitely way cleaner, to be honest. It feels way more playable. Again, it isn't perfect, but it's an improvement. That was pretty bad though, actually. Alright guys, back to the uncapped FPS. I want to do a bit of combat and see if the game is as bad here.
Look who it is. I can't say I'm surprised. You should really review your security.
During the fighting scenes, it does feel pretty good actually.
Freeze with faster reflexes.
It's very much playable. It doesn't stutter. The driving sequence was definitely the hardest part. The FPS easily falls down, and the stutters quite a bit. Yeah, on the VRAM side though, we are using up 7 gigs. That is quite high for 2015. But on this card, we have 8, so it's not really an issue yet. I've gone ahead and updated the game. We are running version 1.62 now, I believe. It's the newest version. Again, we're playing at 1080p. And the settings have definitely expanded. There's way more options, and we can actually increase the settings a bit further as well, up to high instead of normal. I will keep it as normal though, because I want to have a balanced test between the 1.0 build and the newest build. And back into the game again, guys, and of course we're sitting at 90 FPS. That is the limit for now. And the game does pretty good. I think it does stutter here and there, but it's extremely minor now. You can't feel them pretty much. It does show on the frame time graph, but just playing the game, it is very hard to tell. And at the same time, the stability of the frame rate is just way higher in this build. So we're sitting at 120, and it's staying in that range. It goes from like 110 up to 120, easier scenes 140 and more. In the 1.0 build, it's sitting at 120, and then falling into the 70s and 60s, up into the 90s, and then 130s. It is just all over the place. In this build, far more stable, and plays way better overall. Still though, my GPU isn't being fully utilized here. It is sitting at 80% on average, which kind of sucks, but overall again, it does a good job. So you guys, that is it. That is a quick video on Batman Arkham Knight. I think overall the 1.0 build is definitely playable on current hardware. You do have to cap the FPS to 60 to have a good time, to avoid most of the stutters, but it's not too bad. It's definitely playable on the 1.0 build. So yeah, that's it guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time, next video. See you guys there. So a bit of a bonus test for you guys. I did a side-by-side in-game benchmark test. The left is the release from June 2015. The right is the most up-to-date build of the game. And these tests are also done with the 3080 and the 4060 that you saw in the actual video. Keep that in mind as well. For the settings, I matched them through the config file. I just went over them line by line and just checked every single one and made sure they all matched. And yeah, as you guys can see, it does run way better. At times, it's quite a bit, by like 10 FPS or more. And in other areas, it's like 5 FPS difference or even smaller. So it just really depends, but on average, it is a lot higher than what you get in the base version of the game, or the release version of the game. So yeah, that's actually it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll actually see you guys next time in the next video. See you guys there.